Okay, and also, I always like to ask, did you have a feeling when you auditioned for you that like you were gonna get that role, or was it just another day, another audition?
Yeah, it's when you audition so much. Since I got my managers, I've had so many self tapes and so many auditions. Um, you don't book a lot of it, but there are jobs that like you just get this feeling in your gut, and it was one of them.
The Young Entertainment Podcast. The Young Entertainment
I
Podcast.
feel like we are filming a podcast. This is a big deal. Can we just start off with some Sharpay vocal
Oh,
exercises?
absolutely. Hup, ma ma ma.
Oh my gosh, Reese totally knew he had the whole thing. How
Oh,
about,
absolutely.
oh my gosh, did Mordecai's Wi-Fi already drop? Hopefully not. Okay, wait, hold on 1 second. Okay, we'll just continue. We'll just be the main stars of the show for now. And we'll just figure this out. But okay, speaking of just musical theater and all things performance, which by the way, my computer's acting up. We're having so many tech issues at once, so I've got my phone right here, but that's okay. This is showbiz. What do we say? This show must go on.
Absolutely.
Um, absolutely. Okay, so I grew up doing theater as well. So one of the big things was unique New York, unique New York. I know New York, I need New York. I know I need unique New York. Do you know that one?
I have not heard the extended version. That is, I only knew the unique New York part. I didn't know the rest. That's
Oh,
great.
really? That's so funny. That's a an extended version. That's like a
Yeah,
Taylor Swift album
to me
extended.
at
Okay,
least.
what's
Oh yeah.
that's so fun. What's another one? Oh, Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers. Have you heard that one?
No, no, never heard that one.
Really? Are these
Yeah.
like old ones? Like, am I just so
No,
old that
no. I think you have deep cuts. You have good ones.
that's amazing. Do you have one that you've ever like done as like part of a practice or just one that you know that's popular?
Um, the when I was a kid, mommy made me mash my M&Ms. That was always a classic.
Yes.
Um,
That's
none
so
that I do, none that I do specifically right now, but yeah,
wait, what is it? Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Did I get that?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
nailed it.
amazing. Okay, so we are just warming up here, but we don't know where Mordecai's at. Mordecai is, we're going to call him the young entertainment ghost. Sometimes he disappears, sometimes he comes back in the chat, but that's okay. So, first, I'm going to go ahead and do your bio and introduce you to our audience so they can get to know you.
Great.
Um, it's a little bit long, but that's because you've accomplished a lot. So, I'm just going to go for it. Mordecai's back.
Hi, guy.
Yay, I'm back.
He's back. So, okay, we're jumping in here to Reese's bio. Reese is a young star, but has accomplished so much. Reese Sebastian Diaz is a New York City-based actor and singer with a deep passion for theater. Originally from Allentown, PA, Reese discovered his love for performing at just 8 years old, which, by the way, me too, we can totally relate on that. So when he began acting at his local community theater, Samesies. Since then, he has built an impressive career, most recently completing the Dear Evan Hansen National Tour. OMG, that's iconic, where he covered the roles of Evan, Jared, and Connor. Oh my gosh, that's hard to do. Very hard to do. This August, he will be hitting the road again for another exciting, yet to be announced production. Oh my gosh, the spoilers, the teasers. Beyond performing, Reese is dedicated to fostering new and original theater. While studying at NYU, he co-founded First Act, the university's first organization to produce shows with a student-led creative team offering young artists hands-on experience in writing, directing, producing, and performing. During the pandemic, he also co-founded Baker's Dozen, a collective that produced virtual cabarets. Wow. Providing students with performance opportunities despite industry shutdowns. When he's not on stage, Reese enjoys playing board games and video games, reading and cooking, and spending time with his mini dash hun Leo. I love that. His screen credits include American Horror Story, You, and American Sports Story. Oh my gosh, I feel like we could end the pod right there. You've done so much.
Yeah, it's been a lot, and actually, that's a little out of date. So that the alluring to a show in August is actually that was last August. I'm
Okay.
currently on tour with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that was the big, yeah,
That's amazing. And like
yeah.
how cool, something that totally stuck out was you're so innovative. You're creating these clubs, you're creating these opportunities for young people to perform even in the midst of the shutdown. That's quite incredible. So, excuse me. What a creative human you are, and we're so excited to chat with you today. Okay, so we have a lot of questions for you. We do want to jump into a little game. Normally we do this at the end, but we thought, why not? And you know what? Before we jump into the game, I should say, Mordechai, we need to hear from you because Mordechai is the founder of Young Entertainment. He's also the producer of our show. So, Mordechai, want to say hi and then also like chat about what you did today. Let's all go around and just a brief synopsis, the most exciting thing that happened in our day today.
Oh wow. Okay, so today, well, I'm not gonna say today, but hi, I'm Mordecai. Nice to meet you. I what's it called? So last night I actually went out, and I usually I don't always, but like I actually got on stage and I sang a song from Shrek, which I've never sung before. So it was like it was kind of cool to sing. So I was excited about that.
Oh my gosh, how fun. That's super
That's
fun.
amazing.
I
What
know.
song, can I ask?
Yeah, Who I'd Be. You know
Oh,
that
of
one?
course. Classic.
Yeah,
Great one. Great,
yeah.
great song.
And my friend posted to sing Fiona's part like in the middle, like towards the end of the song. They were just in like the middle of like talking or whatever. So it was just like so totally ignored me. I was just like standing there and I'm like,
Just a
come on.
solo.
Yeah, exactly. We figured it out at the end, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, how fun. Okay, Reese, did you have a highlight of your
Right.
day that you can share with us?
I kind of just had a chill, productive day. I on Harry Potter, I cover one of the leads, and I'm going on for the lead tonight. So just kind of taking it easy, like chilling, cleaning the apartment, stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, which lead are you
Chill
going
day.
on for tonight?
Draco Malfoy's son in the show is called Scorpius Malfoy. So I'm going on for Scorpius tonight.
Amazing. Okay, so
Yeah.
well, I have something I was just gonna say, but okay, really quick. I guess the highlight of my day was I got a really cool audition last night for my agent, like really late at night. So I had to do that today. So it was crazy turnaround because it was due this afternoon. But it was for a really popular makeup company, and it's gonna be like full of celebrities. So the script was just really fun, and it was very like Sharpay Evans. Maybe that's why I was in a High School Musical mood, mixed with like I don't know. Let's see, like Elwood. So it's my dream role basically. But anyway, so that was the highlight of the day. But okay, so one time when, like a decade ago, when I was doing some professional theater, I booked the role of an understudy, and oh my gosh, having to learn so many roles, people don't understand the amount of talent and like dedication that you have to have in order to be an understudy is just like the wildest thing ever. So, what's like a tip or trick? I mean, how do you do that? How do you memorize all these different characters? Like in a nutshell, I know it's a loaded question.
Yeah, no. This is the second time I've understudied in a big production. So Evan Hansen, I covered 3 roles, and in Harry Potter, I covered 5. Um, you just have to be organized. A lot of people in our cast, myself included, use note cards. So like I have a stack of note cards for each character I cover that just like you enter wing 1 left and exit wing 2 right. For the whole show for each character. So that way I can keep them in my pocket during the show. And like when I get off stage, I can like quickly look because sometimes it's months in between going on for one role. I think that's the biggest thing, just staying organized, having something written down to quickly reference so you know what to do.
Yeah, that's so insane. I love that. Okay, and I just had to ask that question because I was so intrigued. But okay, so now that we've gotten to know each other a little bit, we are going to jump into our first and favorites segment. So a lot of people that watch our podcast, listen to our content, they're young. They're young. We're all young, and so firsts are a big thing. And of course, who doesn't love talking about their favorites? So I'm just gonna go through, and we could do this like rapid fire style. So just kind of like whatever comes to mind. just go for it.
Okay.
No right or wrong
Great.
answer, of course. Well, maybe, but only you would know. Okay, so first and favorites with Reese. Okay, very first time on set.
First time on set was American Horror Story,
Ooh.
2022, I think.
Dang. Okay, and first professional audition.
First professional audition was a theater audition when I was 9. I was 9 for Walnut Street Theater, which is a regional theater in Philadelphia.
Amazing. And what was your first television or film audition?
My first TV audition was American Horror Story.
Oh,
I freaking knew
wow.
it.
Yeah.
Because listen, here's how talented the people are that we interview. Every time we ask them what was your first time on set and your first audition, it's always the same. And I'm like, okay, it adds up now. Wow. And it still blows me away every time. Okay, first time you ever had to cry on cue if you've had to.
I think Evan Hansen was the first time I've had to cry on cue.
And what's your trick to doing that? What's your secret?
I don't have one. I think it's all like specifically for theater. I haven't had to cry on film or TV yet, but for theater, like you just do so much prep and so much work ahead of time that you're just like in the role and it just comes naturally to me at least.
Wow, that's quite amazing. Okay, first on-screen kiss if you've had one.
No on-screen kiss.
Theater?
Theater, professionally was Evan Hansen.
Oh, okay. And then what was that? So on film and TV sets, you have like, if there's any type of kissing, there's an intimacy coordinator always, right? Do they have that
Yeah.
for theater or is that not a thing?
It is becoming more of a thing. I think it is a thing. I think Evan Hansen, we had a director like an associate director who also served as that.
Oh, okay.
So I do believe widely it is a thing
Yeah,
in
interesting.
theater as well. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Your favorite celebrity that you want to work with?
Oh my gosh. Tom Hanks.
Ooh, good one. Okay. Favorite line from a film, TV show, or stage production?
Oh gosh. There's a line in Harry Potter. Draco Malfoy screams, "Is that a farmer's market?" I don't know if that's actually my favorite, but that is the first thing that came to mind. So I'm gonna go with that one.
That's so funny. That's just something you're just, sitting at home. You could just stand up, blurt out, sitting on a plane. It's all quiet. Funny. Okay. So what is one of your favorite songs that pumps you up before a scene? Like if you need to get your energy up, your go-to fave song.
Yeah. "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen since high
Ooh.
school has been like my pre-show like pump up song.
I love it. Amazing. Okay. Your favorite snack at Crafty?
Oh, I haven't been on set that long, so I'm honestly still too anxious to really order a lot. I'd maybe just get like a coffee and then whatever's for dinner or breakfast.
Oh my gosh.
So I guess coffee. Coffee would be the main.
Oh my gosh. You can't go wrong with coffee. Whenever we're talking about Crafty and someone brings up coffee, I love to share. One time I was working on a set where they literally built a whole functioning Starbucks inside the soundstage as like part of Crafty, and that was just like so much fun.
That's amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was all free, you just
That's
like
so cool.
fun. Okay, your first TV show, film, or stage production that you saw that inspired you to become an actor?
The first stage show professionally I saw was Mary Poppins, and I think that was what really like ignited the spark to do this professionally.
Yeah, what do you think? Like, what was it? Was it a certain moment? Was there something about the show? Was it something that you felt? Like, do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was the show had a lot of magic in it. I remember being really transfixed with the magic, and also there was a young boy character who was around my age, and I really like saw myself up there doing that, and I was like, "Oh, that boy is my age, and he's doing this. I can do that."
Oh, I love that. That's
Can you
so
imagine
cool.
if it, Danielle, if it was like Eli? We just interviewed someone who actually like does a lot of our interviews as well, and he was in Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Remember that?
right. Oh my
Oh.
gosh, what if that was the little boy in the production?
Yeah,
It
that would
might
be
have been. It might have
wild.
been.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be so full circle. Okay, Mordechai, after this pod, you need to do some like FBI recon and put together the dates and try and figure that out. because that would be so epic. Okay, well, speaking of just first and how everything started, so you started out in theater and then you went to television, right? What was that
Yeah,
transition like? Because the two worlds are very different.
they are. Yeah. Arguably the transition is still kind of happening. It never stopped. Like it's a um but I don't know, just when I was on tour with Dear Evan Hansen, I didn't have representation. I got in Dear Evan Hansen just by myself. And so I was looking for representation and I was kind of interested in film. And so I signed with a manager who is really heavy into the film world. Um, and then I talked a lot with them about the transition and they suggested to take like specific classes for film acting. And, I've really fallen in love with it. And it is different. There are differences in like the subtlety, um, and like the volume and like you have to learn how to self tape really well. And I find it all really fascinating and I love switching between the two worlds. I think it's really fun.
Yeah, that is so cool. Okay, something that you said stood out. I need to ask. So, you mentioned that you booked Dear Evan Hansen without representation. So, for any of the young people that are listening that are like, I want to do what Reese is doing, but I don't have an agent, how did you make that happen? Was it an open call that you went to? How did you get that audition without having an agent?
Yeah, I kind of had a head start because I acted from such a young age. I already had my equity card. So I could go to EPAs and ECCs. So I went to I think it took like two, three, four EPAs of Dear Evan Hansen before I actually booked it. But I just kept going to EPAs as much as I could. Um, but I know a lot of people who booked Evan Hansen through open calls as well. So if you see an open call, or if you can go to an EPA on the non-ec list, or if you have your card, there are great ways to book jobs, and it happens all the time.
Amazing. So you heard it here, guys. Go to those open calls. But also, we need a little masterclass moment here with Reese. Can you break down what an equity card is, what an EPA is, what give us a little dictionary version of all that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Actors Equity is the stage actors union in the United States. And so when you are in the union, you have your equity card, which allows you to go to EPAs, which stands for Equity Principal Audition. So those are auditions that shows will have for their principal cast, so the main characters in each show. There's also ECCs, which are for chorus calls, so the dancers or ensemble members. Um, and so you can sign up on their website if you have a card, like your number, you'll have a member number on your card. You can sign up for these auditions on the website. Or if you are non-union, you don't have a card, you can still check the website, I believe. Or there's other forums that list all the auditions, and you can show up the day of the audition and put your name on the non-union list. And if they have space, they will sometimes see non-union actors as well.
Oh, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah.
We have not had somebody on our podcast yet that has been able to go into the depth like that, like you just did, as far as explaining what all those things mean, and it's so important. And one of the reasons we do our podcast and we have Young Entertainment in general is because we want all this knowledge to be accessible to young people who might not have the resources to learn how to pursue their dreams otherwise. So thank you for sharing that. That's going to be
Yeah, of course.
super helpful to a lot of our listeners. Okay, so how did your time on stage prepare you for your role as Sawyer in You?
Yeah, I think just it's all practice. It's all like, especially as young performers, like there's a lot of first times, and as much practice and reps as you can get in any form of acting is helpful. Um, so like my time with Evan Hansen taught me how to access things emotionally that I have never had to access before, and that helped me with Sawyer. So it's all good practice. Any form of acting I think is helpful for any future acting. If that makes
Totally.
sense.
Oh, yeah, makes perfect sense. So what was the audition process like for you?
So quick. I think I just filmed one tape. Um, I got the tape. I think I submitted it the same day or the next day, very early in the morning. And then I think I found out like 3 or 4 days later that I booked it, right from the tape, and then it was quick, like fitting the next day and then filming 2 days later. It was very fast.
That is always so wild. I think
Yeah.
people don't really realize how fast things happen. Like when we interviewed Aaliyah yesterday, who is in Paradise on Hulu, and she's talking
Mhm.
about how like she got the audition, she got the call back, and then bam, they're filming a couple days later. It's so insane to me because everything else in life I feel like takes a really long time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but now when you book something, a lot
Nope.
sometimes it's slower, but I love that. So exciting. Okay, and also, I always like to ask, did you have a feeling when you auditioned for you that like you were gonna get that role, or was it just another day, another audition?
Yeah, it's when you audition so much, since I got my managers, I've had so many self-tapes and so many auditions. Um, you don't book a lot of it, but there are jobs that like you just get this feeling in your gut, and it was one of them where I was like, I filmed it and I was like, I feel really good about that. Not necessarily that I would book it, but like sometimes you just feel really good about a tape and really good about it, how you fit into a job, and it just felt like it would be perfect for me.
Yes, yes. Okay, so good. And on the contraire, has there ever been an audition where you felt like, I don't know if this is really me, or like I don't know if it just wasn't it wasn't your vibe maybe, but you ended up booking it anyway. Has that ever happened?
Um, I've had plenty of auditions where I'm like, this is not my vibe. This is
Really?
I don't
Okay.
think I'm the person they want for this, but I'm gonna tape it anyway, and we'll see. I don't know if I
Yeah.
booked any of them. Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't. I go in for a lot of bad boys, and it's like I can play it. I know I can play it, but like at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I'm like I'm 5'6", I'm like scrawny, like that. I don't think I'm what you're looking for. Um, but no,
Oh,
I
that's
haven't booked one
awesome.
of those yet, but maybe we'll see.
Probably a lot of fun to audition though for those, no?
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun to like stretch that the muscle, like play a role, jump into a role that I don't occupy frequently. So it is always fun. It's just like, ooh, I don't know if they'll see me like this. I hope they do, but
Yeah. No, that's so good. When we interviewed Jordan Dow the other day, he's on Hallmark's The Way Home. So he was talking about how just like you just exactly what you said, like you just go on auditions, even if you look at the breakdown and you're like, I don't think this is really me, but it's great practice. And then for anybody listening who's like, okay, what's the benefit to that? A lot of times casting directors will see you audition for that role and they're like, okay, maybe he's not the best fit for that, but oh my gosh, light bulb, I'm casting this other thing or this other role and he would be perfect for that. So I think that that's an amazing little tidbit to just always, when your agent sends you something or even an open call, just go for it, just do it because you never know. And it's always good practice anyway.
absolutely.
Do
Yeah.
you yeah. Do you remember where you were and what you were doing when you got the call that you got the role in you and what your reaction was?
Yeah, I think I was just in my apartment. I think my girlfriend and I were just watching TV or something. I don't quite remember, but um I actually don't think I got a call either. I think it was just an email from my manager that was like, "Hey, they're looking forward. They're going forward with booking you." Um, and I think we celebrated. I was ecstatic. Like this was the biggest role I've had on TV yet, and so and to be a part of such a big culturally relevant show like is so cool. It's such a dream come true, and so I was over the moon.
Oh my gosh, I bet. I feel, Reese, like you're a very chilled person and you're very laid back and you're go with the flow. And I feel like the way that you like, you're like, they didn't even call. They just sent an
Yeah,
email.
they
It's
just
like,
sent me
it's
email.
so you.
Yeah,
It's no pun intended. So you and so you for you. Okay.
yeah.
So let me see. I'm so excited about all of this. Okay. What was it like playing opposite Lonely Boy, AKA Dan Humphrey, aka Penn Badgley? It's crazy how he goes from playing such an amazing character to who he is in person. I mean, he's just so talented. So, what was that experience like working with him?
Yeah, I mean, you get like the scripts. I got the scripts like the actual script the night before, and then I saw that I was gonna film with him, and then you never know with like celebrities or big actors how they're gonna be. Not necessarily rude or nice, but like, do they keep to themselves? Are they gonna be talkative? Like, do they just like want space? especially somebody who's just coming in late in the process. But he was so nice. Like he was so locked into the scene, and then after, like during breaks, he was like, come sit with me. Like I want to talk to you. I want to learn about you." So he like asked me about my career, and he asked me like all about myself, and I have never experienced that before on set. Like the star of a show really taking an interest on somebody who's only on set for a few hours. And so that was really special. Like that made me feel really good, and it also inspired me to see somebody who is such a big deal and who is doing amazing work also treat people like that. It's really, it makes me really hopeful for the industry and like who I can turn into as an actor in the future.
Totally. I mean, that's pretty amazing because it's one thing to just be, nice, and it's another thing for him to be like, "You know what? I want to sit down, learn about you, like tell
Yeah.
me who you are." I mean, that's pretty epic, and
Yeah.
that's so cool. You're gonna remember that for forever. And honestly, so is he. So is he. What a cool guy. Were you able? I know it was like a shorter interaction, but also, we're always constantly learning. Do you feel like there was anything like you learned from him? I mean, that's probably one big thing you learned. He was such an inspiration of what an incredible person he is, being so successful. But do you think there was like any acting tips you picked up, or just anything that you noticed that was like, oh, interesting, I'm going to take note of that?
Yeah. I think with theater, the script is very specific. You have to follow the script. The script is what it is. And I think watching Penn, he always said like the general gist of the lines, but would just like paraphrase some of it or like say something a little different each take. And I thought that was really cool. Of like what I assume is it's like him finding the words that Joe Goldberg would actually use. Like sometimes it's not exactly what's written. And I have definitely felt that as an actor. I'm sure all actors have. Is like you're reading a script and you're like, I don't know if I would say it like that. And so like to have the freedom to see somebody have the freedom to tweak it a little bit to like better fit the character is really cool to see, and something that I'll definitely like keep in the back of my mind for the future.
Yeah, that's actually really, really cool. And also, that must have kept you on your toes a little bit too,
Mhm.
because like you're
Yeah.
doing the scene and he's constantly ad-libbing or changing something, and so it just really probably forces you to connect and be in the scene and be in the
Yeah.
moment and actually interact as your character. So
Yeah.
that
I
must
love
have
that as an
been
actor. It's great. Yeah. It's
yes,
great to like have that play. Yeah.
yes, play off each other. It's so fun. Um, what was the most challenging part of the production, and how did you overcome it, if there was a challenge?
Yeah. I think with these smaller roles, it's always a challenge. Just like you have no information. It is like, it's all very quick and you're not the center of attention. And so like nobody's really telling you what to do. Like you just gotta like stand in there. I don't have a whole lot of like background on who Sawyer is, and you're just expected to just like do your job, know it, like do that work yourself. And so that's very different from my theater experience. So, like we rehearsed for 3 months before we're on tours. Like I spend a lot of time with these characters, and Sawyer was just kind of like, okay, you ready? Let's go, take one. And so that's definitely an adjustment. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good point and very, very fascinating. And Mordecai wrote down, he made a note. He said that he noticed you got to work on some Ryan Murphy projects. And let's see, it sounds like he says, sounds like a masterclass if I've ever heard one. And what was that experience like? And how did that prepare you for future roles?
Yeah, my first TV job was American Horror Story. And I think it was a similar situation. I walked in, the director was like, "You had such an amazing tape. We're so happy to have you here." And then it was like, "Stand on your mark, say your line." I'd got no direction the entire time. There was no like say a different lead, say like try this. Like it was truly like 3 takes, and that was it. That was my first TV job, and it's very like overwhelming at first. You're like, what? Like I must be doing something wrong. Like I've never acted for TV for a camera before. Like there has to be something that I'm doing that you don't like. But um, it yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool to be on a set like that with with such an iconic show in American Horror Story, and then American Sports Story was a completely different vibe. We were outside on a university lot, and it was a huge exterior scene with like over 100 extras, and so that was like even less attention for as an actor. It's just like you know what you're doing. Um, but I haven't had a lot of time on those sets, but like from what I've seen, like it's so fascinating how they're run. Yeah.
Wow, and that's so wild. It's still so mind-blowing that you just had the most simple, short audition and then immediately booked it. Um,
So when
do
you
you
say
remember?
so
Yeah.
just out of curiosity, so when you say that you don't have any like background, so what do you do to like get into the character then if you don't have that background?
Yeah, I think the most background I have is like from what I taped. So like when I get the audition, I like really read the character description and I really read the script and I break it down and I create like what I think the character is, and then that's what I put on tape. And then it's just kind of like, okay, that's what they booked. Like they liked that, so that's just what I do. I like just carry that over. Um, but obviously, like taping at home feels very different than being on set. So it's just like it's just like I as an anxious person, I'm always like, what do they want? I don't know. I'm doing what they want. Um,
Yeah, that's so good. And too, it's like you're kind of creating it, right? Like they don't give
mhm.
you a lot, so
Yeah,
it's your job to just create it and go for it.
yeah, yeah,
Do you ever submit multiple takes, or do you usually just pick your best take?
yeah. I think my general rule is if it is like 1 to 5 lines, I will submit a second take. If they say unless they say they don't want a second take. Um, so I've always done that and just like give them. I think I did do that for both jobs for American Horror Story and you. I think I submitted more than
Awesome.
one take for both of those.
Yeah, and I think that's the cool part about self-taping these days. Like back in the day when you're in the room, of course they can redirect you, but they don't always offer to redirect you. So sometimes you just get one shot. So I think that there are several benefits to self-taping. And I think I always think it's so cool when actors say like, yeah, I submit a couple takes. Um very cool. Okay, so we've heard this question asked a lot, and we love hearing actors' answers. So where in the moment the director calls action, when you hear that word action, where is your brain going?
It kind of depends on the job. I think American Horror Story, it was just my brain was all over the place. So it's just like I think the first couple of takes I was like, yeah, I don't think it was that bad, but you know, like that was the feeling inside. But then after you just like try to inhabit the character in the world as best you can. So I think American Horror Story, I was a drugstore customer was the official role. So it's just like walking around the drugstore and like really inhabiting that in the time period. And same with you is um I was given the direction of what I was supposed to be doing, and it's just like, okay, I'm this person, I'm living in this world in this time, and this is what I'm doing. So it's just like
Yeah.
Reese thoughts gone, and then new role thoughts go.
Yeah, yeah, that's quite amazing. And one answer that we got, I think recently, if we, who was it? It was someone we just interviewed, but they went really deep into like the moment before, like
Hmm.
all the theory and work that goes into
Yeah,
that. And but also they were saying too how like it is true when you're first starting acting or in your first set, when they call action, it's like this rush of adrenaline,
yeah,
like, here we go. Oh my gosh, it's actually happening. But, and I'm sure too, like you said, it felt like, oh my gosh, but I'm sure no one could tell.
yeah,
But it does, yeah, it does feel like that though, which is so crazy. That's something that I'll never forget learning that one time I did a project and I watched it back, and in my mind, I felt like I was so nervous. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, you can't tell. It is
yeah,
crazy how the human body as an actor, as a creator, as a creative, like you can hide that. It's the
yeah.
wildest thing ever.
It is. It's really surreal.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so we're going to dive into some behind the scenes. So, we know you were part of the Dear Evan Hansen family, both on Broadway and on tour. What was the biggest adjustment that you had to make as you transitioned from an understudy on Broadway to one on tour within the same production?
Yeah. Show wise, it is pretty much the same show. There's just like, there's numbers on stage, 0, 2, 4, whatever. So some of them is like stand on 7 instead of 6, and it's like, okay. But I think the biggest adjustment that's not on stage is just lifestyle. Like being on tour is so different than being on Broadway. On Broadway, I go to my apartment at the end of the night. I go home to my partner at the end of the night. I have my friends in New York. And on tour, you are in a hotel for the week. Like you're living out of a suitcase. You are only around the people that are on tour. So like, love them or hate them, that's your family for the next year. And so it's just a very different after work lifestyle, which can affect your work and can affect your life. So I think that was the biggest adjustment.
Yeah, totally. Totally different. Like you said, lifestyle, which is got to be so crazy too.
Yes.
Having to remember like not only what role you're playing and what's going on, but also like what city you're in and what hotel you're staying at that night. I'm sure it starts to feel a little crazy. Okay, and this I feel like is a tongue twister of a question. Goes along kind of with just what we said. So, was there anything between the roles that changed your perspective on the characters since you covered Evan, Jared, and Connor, such as a new view on Connor's role in Evan's life because you're playing all these different roles? So it's kind of like a crazy masterclass in a way, like on these characters when you're playing yourself in each other's shoes. I don't even know how to say it. Different nights. That's wild.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Especially with that show, all those roles were bigger roles. They were all lead roles. And that show is so interesting because those 3 boys are all wanting to find connection, and they're just doing it in different ways. Connor lashes out with anger and aggression, and Jared uses humor to cope, and Evan just talks a lot and tries to make people happy, tries to please people. And so I think performing as each, so you notice how similar they are at their core, and it's just like the way they interact with the world is different because of what happened to them and because of their past. So it's really cool to see like how like your past and your family and your environment can shape your decisions as a human in terms of like the characters.
Oh, yeah, totally. And you know, this is kind of making me think, Deb, we did a little video a couple weeks ago that went super viral, but it was Lindsay Lohan talking about when she was playing Annie and Hallie, but then when she was in Parent Trap, back in the day, but then
Yes,
like
yeah.
when she was playing Annie, who was playing Hallie, and then playing Hallie, who was playing Annie, that's kind of what being an understudy seems like it's you're playing it. It gets crazy,
It
basically.
does
Moral of the
get
story.
crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Do you feel like the audience reactions or the feeling or the vibe from the audience is any different from like when you're in an intimate setting of a Broadway theater to opposed to maybe some of the bigger theaters when you're on tour?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So on tour, specifically with Dear Evan Hansen, it was the last year of the tour, so we went to some small cities that there was one show I was on for Jared. Jared curses a lot. He is very crude. He says a lot of crude jokes. I had a friend in the audience who heard people saying like, I don't like that boy. Like, why is he talking like that? Like, it's so like the content of the show is very different to people who are in Iowa and don't always see stuff like this versus New York, where audiences are expected to hear cursing and crude jokes. Um, so yeah, it can be very different depending on the city.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
such a hilarious thought to even think of. I can almost just picture that.
Yeah, did you get to keep the cast on the Evan Hansen tour?
Yeah, yeah. So for those who don't know, Evan, the main character in Evan Hansen, wears a cast, and it was a real cast. So every show at half hour, the Evans would get a plastered cast on their arm, and it would take like 15 to 20 minutes to dry. And then we do all of Act One with the cast, and then at intermission, they would saw it off with a buzz saw. They would saw it off at intermission, and then you get to keep the cast.
any like last like behind the scenes moments or like OMG moments, something that was like really funny that maybe happened behind the scenes instead of you, or even on tour that was just something maybe iconic or just something really silly that happened that you feel like the audience would love to hear a behind the scenes moment?
Oh gosh. I don't think I have anything for any of the film jobs I've done, but certainly, I mean, on stage stuff happens all the time. Just last week we have a dance in Harry Potter called the wand dance, where it's like a wand is leading you the whole dance, and I just fell on stage as it happens. Just like, especially as a cover, when you don't do it every night and you fall, it's like, ah, dang it. Um, but stuff like that happens all the time, and especially in Harry Potter, which is such a crazy, technically involved show. We have mishaps all the time.
Yeah, I bet. What do you do? Is it just like the show must go on, so you just kind of keep going? Is there ever a time where, I don't know, like what is the protocol on that when something like that happens?
Yeah, I mean, like when I fell, you just get back up and you keep going. But because there's a lot of technical stuff in Harry Potter, we have fire and we have flying and stuff like that. So if something is like gonna put somebody in danger, we would stop the show and hold, and we have in the past. But besides that, if you just like fall or trip or do something minor, which happens all the time, you just kind of get up and brush it off and keep going.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
great. I love it. I remember when did my first musical theater production ever when I was 8 years old. We had these like black wigs on, and they were not flattering, right? Like you had to put up your hair, put like a wig cap on, and then this like big black wig, and it wasn't cute. Like I remember all the little girls were like, this is not, not super cute. But I remember it was opening night and my wig fell off on stage,
Oh
and
no.
you look like you're bald, with a little wig cap
The
on.
cap. Oh no.
It was like trauma,
Yeah.
trauma that you uncover in therapy years later.
Oh
But
gosh.
it is quite amazing. Like theater performers, that is the most beautiful part. It's live. It is IRL. It is. We commend you because you are such a talent, both on screen and on stage, and we are just so grateful that you took the time out of your day, especially before you're performing tonight. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time to sit down with us and chat. And we do want to give you the opportunity to plug where can they follow you on Instagram? Where can our fans find you?
Yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram, Reese S Diaz on Instagram. Um, I don't really frequent other social media sites. But that's mostly where you can keep up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Reese, I'm actually curious. Do they make you memorize the wands? Because years ago we interviewed Nicholas Pedoni, and he played Harry's son, and
Yeah.
he like knew the wands, and he's like they like sat like he was like like I don't know if this was real or not, but he's like, yeah, they sat us down, they told us everyone belongs, which wand belongs to who. So just
Well,
curious if like that was like a thing.
we we weren't forced to memorize. We do have some character specific wands, like Scorpius has his own wand, and Albus, who's Harry's son, has his own wand. I I wouldn't be able to tell you whose is whose. Besides, I know Scorpius's. Um, but yeah, they
It
might
was
have
wild
in the past.
because then we like showed him pictures, and then he was like he like knew.
He
The only
knew.
one I
Oh
think
wow.
yeah, the only one he didn't get was like what's it called? Fantastic Beast. What's his name?
Yeah. Newt Scamander.
Newt.
His
Yeah,
name?
Newt
Yes,
Scamander. Yeah.
Scamander. Salamander.
But yeah, he was like on it. It was cool. It was a
That's
fun one.
impressive. Well,
Yeah, it was wild.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. I love it. See, the behind the scenes chat is so much fun. Okay, well, thank you everybody for listening to the Young Entertainment Podcast. Reese, it has been such a pleasure, and we can't wait to see where your career goes. You've accomplished so much at such a young age, and we are just so excited to see where you're at even in a decade from now. And thank you to everyone who's listening. Don't forget to listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or anywhere that you listen to your podcast. And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and even Snapchat, Young Entertainment. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you in the next one.